Hi, I'm Aidan Somers and I'm also known as Alias One, and today we're filming an episode of In the Grooves. Today I'll be deconstructing a track of mine which is called Elements. It's a variety of styles influenced from my love for world music, chill out, everything really. It has quite a diversity. I made the song using mainly the piano and the GrooveBox MIDI keyboard, which we'll get into how it works a bit later. We're going to deconstruct the track and start with basically the first sound, which was the piano. Not exactly. In fact, most of my music is improvised, so I just write something in the moment and generally forget whatever it is I wrote. So then I also added this small melody, which is kind of what sets the vibe of the track, keeps it all slow and spacey. And I started adding in some bass chords. So after that I kind of decided I want a really simple drum beat. So I want the chords, something slow, and then a very simple drum beat. So I started working on this, which is 2 layers from an Ableton pack. Got the MIDI, hi-hat, and kick and snare. I press solo. And later on in the song I wanted a change, so I created a second section where it changes up a bit. So once I had the drums and the piano, I basically kind of had the concept of the track with the low piano notes. I'm gonna switch off the vocals for now. I felt like I had a very good concept, so I just layered the same chord structure onto this bass sound, which I recorded with my piano from an internal sound. So we wrote this bass, which follows the piano. And combined. So after all of that, I felt pretty happy with the basis of the song. And I decided to start writing some lyrics, and I experimented with some vocals. I don't consider myself a very good singer, so I just try and process the shit out of them until they sound good. The concept of the lyrics for the song were kind of like elements, that's why I color-coded them, because I'm talking about like burning like a fire, being free like the air, weightless like water, and to breathe with the earth, which for me is a kind of metaphor on how you should live your life in a way. And basically I added like additional layers to make them a bit more interesting. A bit of echo, delay, EQing, auto-tune of course to fix my bad singing. Here there's also a small piano change just in this part of the song where I added this melody. So it has a nice change in the song. Then the last thing, A couple of days later, I listened to the track and I felt it needed something else, so I grabbed the duet and started experimenting with some guitar melodies. This is really cool because you can get a really organic sound. So after that, I kind of just jammed the whole 3 minutes of the song. I just played different melodies and created a really long MIDI pattern. And I just chopped out kind of the best pieces from that to create like little changes in the song. Like this chord, this little note here. And other melodies which come in like here. And some chords at the end of the song which make it more intense. So these are like Ableton sounds, but I passed them through a bunch of effects and software amps to simulate an electric guitar. This is how it sounds without. So a pretty shitty sound, but once you add enough, you get a more complex sound. And basically that just really helped the track feel even more human and more organic. More energy. I just really believe organic sounds speak to you so much better. Like they're stronger, more emotional than electronic sound. So I always like to add a touch of something human. I think it helps to connect more with the listener. I'd say the song is pretty much finished, though now I'm gonna continue with mastering it. And yeah, it's gonna be part of a series of around 10 songs in an album. So I'm working on finding other vocalists to include in the project and make something a bit interesting, a bit diverse. The album is going to be with a variety of singers, so each song will have a different lead vocalist. And it's around a rock, chill-out world music concept. So I'm trying to make it quite diverse, yet still have a certain cohesion to it. Thanks for watching. I'm Aidan Somers, and yeah, get in touch if you need anything production related.